Today is the day. The hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change. And of course, by that I mean Black Adam is out in theaters today. And so, of course, to celebrate the occasion, I want to bring to you guys a review of who is hopefully my favorite character in the entire film, Dr. Fate. How's it going, everyone? Deceptibot9 here, and thank you as always for joining me here on the channel. Now, before we get too far into the review, if you like what you see, go ahead, leave me a like. And if you like what I do and you want to stay tuned for all of the future content I have planned, go ahead, subscribe as well. It really does mean a lot to me. Plus, if you want to follow me on any of my other social platforms, you can find me on TikTok at Deceptibot9, on Twitter at Deceptibot9, and on Instagram at Deceptibot9 Reviews. Alright, so Black Adam coming out today. Hopefully the movie's great. I am actually really looking forward to the film, and ever since this casting was announced of Pierce Brosnan, one of my favorite actors, as Dr. Fate, one of the coolest characters in all of the DC universe, I was instantly hyped, I was instantly sold, and of course, McFarlane had to go and make a whole Black Adam movie wave. So we got to take a look at Pierce Brosnan, Dr. Fate. So enough intro, let's go ahead and take a closer look at Dr. Fate. All right, and here is a closer look at the Black Adam Dr. Fate up on his flight stand, looking, as you can see, just absolutely fantastic. I love this figure. I think he is really solid. Now, of course, we have to mention, as always, he does come with a card. It's got beautiful artwork on the front. Surprised it's not a promo image from the film, but nonetheless looks great. Plus, on the back, you can get your data file to see kind of what Dr. Fate is about in the movie. And he does come with the flight stand. Thank goodness. What else? Why are you going to give this guy a regular stand? You're not. That's the point. So we've had enough look around at him here. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the details on Dr. Fate. All right, bringing him in closer here, we can take a look at his, I guess not head sculpt, but his helmet sculpt, and we can see it looks really nice. I know some people are not huge fans of the sort of asymmetrical look of the helmet of Nabu in this film, but I think it looks really cool. You can see this side, we don't see his ear. It's got a little bit more of an eyepiece on that side. This side it's a little bit cleaner with, you know, maybe some markings here on the side, plus you get the ear on this side. So I don't know. I think that the no eyes look and the sort of dual nature look of it is really neat. And of course, I mean, it just straight up looks like the helmet anyway, but without eyes, and all that aside. Anyway, moving down, looking at some more of the details here, you can see there's this beautiful texture pattern all over his suit. It's so nice to see how detailed this suit is. It just has these little details everywhere. It looks really good. Coming up here, this gold chest armor is really cool as well. There's not much detail on it itself. It's just sculpted really well. Looks nice. And of course, that bleeds into the cape on the back. We're getting so much more of that texture. You can see if you look really close, it's like individually carved runes or spells. Like, it's so neat. I love the amount of detail and attention that is put into the figure. Of course, on the back is all the same details right there. You can see then also on his gauntlets, you get some of those etched markings, some shapes going on here on the bottom. His hands, he's got hands. That makes sense for the character. We'll see here in a few minutes. We're going to talk about another Dr. Fate figure that has some problems with his hands, but yeah, I love this. It's all just done in gold. The hand's nice. Got a few little detail markings on there for the gauntlets if you want to see that. The belt here looks really nice as well. Mine's got a couple little paint scuffs, but no big deal. The gold all along the sides of the trim look great. This is a very soft plastic, and it's kind of just not held onto the body to, you know, not limit articulation. So do be careful. I'm not sure if there could cause breakage over time with that one little strand, but it's a potential. just keep an eye out on it. Coming down here, of course, the same pattern here. Nothing on the back of the cape, but it is a nice shimmery gold, as you can see, to match the rest of the gold. And down on the boots, we get kind of the same detailing we got on the wrist armor, and they look spectacular. So that is the details on Dr. Fate. I mean, you guys hear me say it in every McFarlane video that I do. You can never go wrong with how these figures look. I think they are sculpted tremendously, and I think they always just end up looking absolutely awesome. So speaking of typical McFarlane, just to cover it real fast, the articulation is very, very standard on Dr. Fate. You're getting all the same ball joints up here on the head. He can look down a good amount. He can look up a pretty decent amount as well. That seems a little bit higher than most characters, but of course, no eyes. Doesn't really matter. The arms, they do have the ability to go all the way around if they go out a little bit, because the shoulder armor blocks it. It is soft plastic, but you can only get it going so far before it stops. They are on their butterfly joints as well. The arms go out about that far. Again, this causes a little bit of blockage, but nothing major. Bicep swivel, of course, the double elbow that we come to know from McFarlane. The McFarlane, not McFarland. The wrist joints are the newer wrist joints, where they kind of blend in a little bit more. With the actual sculpt work of the hand rather than being a big ball pin. He does have the diaphragm cut as well that allows him to crunch backwards that far, crunch to the sides a little bit, crunch forward just a tad, but not much. And it does rotate up here at this ball joint as well. The waist you can get if you grab it properly. It does rotate around. But again, this is where I'm warning about these pieces. They're not hooked onto anything besides themselves here on the back, so just be wary. And of course, if you want to rotate that waist, you gotta grab it on his tummy. Grab his little tummy. The legs go forward about that far. They go backwards that far. They go out about that far, so you can get Dr. Fate going into a full split if you would like, which makes sense for the guy. If you want to see him floating around doing the splits, that is a way to tackle it. Legs got the double jointed knees as well. And of course, down here at the feet is the new sculpted ankles as well, where they kind of blend in a little bit. You get the hinge, you get the rotate, you get the pivot, all that stuff. It's a little stuck on that side, but you get the point. And toe bend as well, which is absolutely standard for McFarlane figures. So we've got this Dr. Fate here. We got to see how he compares with some other characters, shall we? All right. Of course, we got to compare Dr. Fate here with Black Adam. Obviously, I know this is not the Rock version, but I do not yet have one of the Rock versions in hand, so we'll compare him with Page Puncher's Black Adam, who I do have a full review of on my channel if you'd like to check that out. All right, here is the Black Adam Dr. Fate with the other Dr. Fate that Todd has released, that being the Injustice 2 version, which is, for me, a slightly disappointing figure. I think he overall looks great, but unfortunately, he's kind of hindered articulation in a lot of areas. Plus, this is what I was talking about with the hands. Look at this. Why would you give Dr. Fate a gun trigger finger hand and a fist when he's meant to have nice, open, magic-y spell effects like that? So this Dr. Fate figure, I really wish was better. Hopefully the one that is supposedly coming in the Injustice 2 Page Punchers line is a little bit better than this one and sort of gives justice to the Injustice version of Dr. Fate. But something I did want to point out with these two, if you would wish to make this one look a little more comic accurate, the heads are, of course, on ball joints, so you can just remove. It might take a little bit of pulling. The heads are on ball joints, so you can just pop them off. Might take a little bit of effort, but you pop them off, and you can, that one was a lot easier, you can just switch them at the ball joint. And this one you got to give a little bit of a push onto if you want to get it onto that ball joint. Make sure it's lined up first, but might take a little bit of work. It's just kind of resting on there right now. I didn't quite get to pop it all the way on. You might need to heat it up a little bit if you need to, but you see you can put the classic Dr. Fate helmet on the movie Dr. Fate body, and that gives you a pretty gosh darn comic accurate looking version of Dr. Fate. So if that is something you would like to do with your Dr. Fates, you certainly can. All right, that's going to do it for my closer look at the Black Adam Dr. Fate. So without further ado, let's go ahead and throw it back up to me for my final thoughts. All right, so how do I feel about Black Adam Dr. Fate here? Well, I think he is a great addition to your DC Universe shelf if you want to add him to be a stand-in comic Dr. Fate, or even if you want him to be part of your Black Adam movie collection. I think he is fantastic. He is much better than the Injustice 2 version. The range of articulation that you are able to get on this one is so much better. You can get him in some of these cool flight poses, plus the hands actually make sense for what Dr. Fate is supposed to do. Plus, if you don't like this helmet, you can very easily swap it out. And I think this ends up being one of Todd's best movie characters, because he didn't have to make a face sculpt for it, because he sometimes struggles with the actor licenses, or likenesses, rather. But this one he didn't have to worry about it, even though I would have loved a Pierce Brosnan head to go with this guy. You know I would have. But that's where we stand with Dr. Fate. Alright, you guys, that is going to do it for my full in-depth review of the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Black Adam Dr. Fate. If you have this figure, go ahead and let me know what you think down below. Also, since the movie came out today, have you seen it yet? Do you plan on going to see it this weekend? Let me know all your thoughts about the Black Adam movie in the comments down below as well. So, without further ado, guys, thank you for making it all the way to the end. If you did, I do really, truly appreciate it. And as always, I have been your host, Decepticon9. I'll see you guys later.